Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Luna and I make Animal Crossing videos every single week. So if you're into that, consider subscribing to join our little AC family. For today's video, I am going to do a spiralpond. I decided that I wanted to put the spiralpond here just because I felt like it's the only place on my island that fits. I will create an updated crescent moon pond maybe in the next video, but for now, let's start the build. In my last video, I created these fairy ponds and I wanted to connect those ponds to this spiral pond. So to create these spiral ponds, I came up with this method and I hope that it's easy to recreate and follow. Using any custom design that you have, I'm using this green leaf path and you're going to outline the shape of a spiral. The first thing you want to do is find the center point. This may take a couple of tries to figure out. It did for me because I wanted it to be as perfect as possible. Then you start creating a circle. You can copy what I'm doing because I think it's going to be the easiest way to explain. For reference, my area is 14 by 17, just in case you are wondering. I know for me that would be helpful so that I know how much space I need to add the spiral pond, but I would say to create as much space as possible, and then you could always go back and add cliffs. I honestly think doing this method is easier than trying to freehand. I've tried to freehand this and it was super hard, but I ended up drawing this on paper. So this is how it should end up looking. Now I'm going to show you the second part. Now I'm going to use the curved edges of the path as a guide for myself so that I know when I'm using the waterscaping tool, I'll know what I'm carving out. It might not make sense now, but when I get the waterscaping tool, I'll show you what I mean. I just thought that adding the curved edges would be a helpful guide because you can see where you're supposed to curve the edges when you're waterscaping, and when you're done, you can see kind of a spiral design. I'm not going to lie, this is a little bit more work, but I think it helps a lot because you can visually see the spiral pond and all you have to do is outline it, which to me is a lot better than creating holes with your shovel. See, it's already starting to look like a spiral. But this pond was super fun to create. I'm actually happy that I created this pond because I've never done anything like this on my island before. I did create the crescent moon pond a while ago, but I kind of want to recreate it with me explaining how I did it. I kind of just let the video do the talking, but I kind of want to recreate it because I want one on this island so bad, but we'll see. Now that you've added the edges, it should look something like this. So now you're going to grab your waterscaping tool and you're going to carve out only the green grass, just like what I'm doing right now. Don't worry about carving out the edges. If you want, you can, but I feel like when you start carving out the edges along with it, you start carving out too much and then you have to redo everything again. So that's why I said you should just start off by carving out just the green grass and then you can go back and carve out the edges. I personally try to avoid doing extra work, and I also hate carving out something by accident and then having to rebuild it. It gets super annoying in this game. If you see here, that's where my fairy ponds are. So I'm going to connect this pond that I have here with my spiral pond. I just felt like it connected better than having to put my spiral pond in another area of my island. Plus it's next to my beach, so I can create something on the side that will go along with this build. But for now, it's being occupied with all of my flowers. Also, this whole time I've been using my Mario pipe to go to my storage at home until someone pointed out that we have a storage DIY that I can carry around in my pocket and it connects to my storage at home. I don't know why I forgot about that. I've literally been wasting my time going home to go to my storage when I could have just been holding my storage in my pocket this whole time. Literally, the more you know. Now I use the Mario pipe to get to my flowers because I hate being on the other side of my island and then I need flowers, so I think that was an easier access than having to run to the beach. But anyways, I'm just carving out this little piece here and I'm done removing all of the green grass from this area. This is how it should look after just carving out the green grass. Now that you've carved out everything, you can carve out the edges. Once you carved out the edges, you're going to see how the spiral pond starts to show. This little area I did have a hard time trying to figure out how I want it. As you can see, I ended up removing a piece that I needed, which is what I was talking about earlier. I was going to fix it at the end, but it was bothering me so much that I went back and fixed it. I did wanted to add a tree here, but the space is a little bit too small. Look how it's turning out. I'm falling in love with this spiral pond and I cannot wait to decorate it. Also, if you're going to do this, you could also kind of make your spiral pond a little bit wider to allow some more space for you to walk. I might add some butterfly models that will prevent you from walking, but that's okay. It's all about the aesthetic. Now I'm just going to adjust this to make it more curvy, and then I'm going to go over here to connect the ponds together so that the areas can all come together. And here's how your spiral pond will look. Literally, it looks amazing. And here is how it would look on your map. It looks super cool and super detailed. Now I'm going to bring the cliffs forward to kind of enclose the spiral pond. Also, I had to move all of my flowers on my beach just because they were getting too out of hand on my island. They were growing too rapidly, and so placing them on the sand prevents them from growing, just in case you didn't know. I'm also going to leave this little area here because if I try to remove it, it's going to look a little awkward on the map. I'll probably fill it up with some flowers, and then I'm just extending the pond. I wanted the pond to look a little bit bigger. I think I'm going to add and remove the extra cliffs that I have here. I did want it to extend a little bit further, but at this point it's kind of getting in my way. I also have so many small areas on my island that I haven't decorated yet. I think I'm going to create a video where I decorate all of my small spaces. I think that'll be super fun to do, and it'll help me finish my island a lot faster. I still have like a whole chunk in the middle left to do on my island. I don't even know where I'm going to put my campsite and my nooks cranny. I also still have like 5 villagers left on my beach that I have to move onto the island, so it's going to take some work. Also, I'm still waiting on either Marty or Cherry to ask me to leave. I want to go villager hunting for Mint so bad. I want her on my island. I think she'll fit perfectly. Plus, she's cute and green. I also have a bunch of Nook Mile tickets that I saved up for this villager hunt, and it's like nobody wants to leave. I don't blame them, because if it were me, I wouldn't want to leave either, but I want to change up my villagers. I want to experience other villagers that I've never had before. And it's funny because when I don't want my villagers to leave, they are constantly asking me to leave. And then when I want them to leave, nobody wants to ask me. The circle of life here. So I'm decorating the ponds. I don't really have a plan here. I just wanted to decorate it with a bunch of flowers, some star fragments, some butterfly models, you know, the usual that I do to make it more fairycore. I probably won't make this super walkable, so I am so sorry to all of my villagers that will walk to a certain point here and then have to go right back. Am I the only one that feels super bad when a villager is stuck somewhere or can't go to a certain area? I literally feel awful. I know some people don't care and will literally surround their villagers' home in water. I just don't have the heart to do that. I want to create this island so that my villagers can roam free. So the fact that I'm going to add a butterfly model here that prevents my villagers from walking makes me super guilty. But I'm doing it for the aesthetic. I'm almost done decorating the pond. I'm just adding a few more things and adjusting some flowers to make this area look better. Of course, I added this giant vine in the back. In this little area here, I just added a bunch of random things like some flowers and bushes. Here, I felt like the water was too straight, so I wanted to add some texture. And then here in this little area, I added a mushroom parasol to add to that fairycore theme. I'm just pushing it back a little bit. And then in this hole that I created, I'm going to add this hardwood tree in front of it to kind of hide the mushroom a bit. To finish off this build, I'm going to fill up the area with a bunch of flowers and bushes as I normally do. I'm adding some fairy elements like the Nova light and this mush log, and on top of that I'm going to add this vine lamp just to give some light to the back of the tree, and of course adding some gyroids. That bubble one is my absolute favorite, and just for you guys I popped the balloon and got this cream and sugar set. Here is how the spiral pond looks from a top view. It looks super colorful and so cool. I absolutely love this build. Here is how it looks up close. Let's pretend those blue flowers don't exist on the sand. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, let me know by hitting the like button. And if you want to see more videos from me, consider subscribing to join our little AC family. Love you all always. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.